Let me tell you something most people don't know. New York City is home to the largest public housing system in America. Over 400,000 residents, more than the population of cities like Miami or New Orleans, live in buildings run by the city. That's the New York City Housing Authority, or the projects. But how did it all begin? Where did it go wrong? And what's next for this system that shaped generations of New Yorkers? This is the story of the projects, brick by brick. In 1934, during the heart of the Great Depression, NYC was in crisis. Slums were everywhere, overcrowded, unsanitary, and dangerous. Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia had a bold idea: create publicly owned, affordable housing for working-class families. That same year, the New York City Housing Authority was born. The first development? First houses built in 1935 on the Lower East Side. Demolished tenements were cleared, and in their place rose clean apartments, running water, and sunlight. It was the first public housing project in the entire country, funded by the federal government and backed by a belief in housing as a human right. After World War II, the demand for housing exploded. Housing went to work, building some of the largest public housing developments in the world. From Queensbridge to Red Hook, from Soundview to Baruch, a new skyline of brick towers emerged. In 1958, Wagner houses opened along the East River in Harlem, named after Mayor Robert F. Wagner Sr. It became home to thousands of New Yorkers, like so many others built during that era. This was the Tower in the Park model: tall buildings, open green space, playgrounds, and promise. It was clean, it was orderly, it was hope, in red brick and concrete. At its peak, over 600,000 New Yorkers lived in project housing. That's a city within a city. But by the 1970s, the system began to crack, and not just the walls. New York faced a devastating fiscal crisis in 1975. Budget cuts hit housing hard, maintenance slowed, elevators broke, heat stopped working. At the same time, the crack epidemic took hold. Gun violence and drug activity rose. Some developments became dangerous, even deadly. The NYPD ramped up its presence. But trust between police and residents broke down. What was once a promise started to feel like a prison. And still, the people stayed. Cookouts continued. Block parties, basketball tournaments, community life. They all lived on, in spite of the decay. By the early 2000s, housing had become the largest landlord in the city, but also its most neglected. For years, politicians deferred maintenance. Federal support shrank, and the backlog of repairs ballooned. Lead paint, broken boilers, collapsed ceilings. Entire buildings were labeled unlivable. In 2018, the federal government stepped in. An investigation revealed falsified inspections and unsafe conditions. Housing entered a consent decree and promised to change. But by then, the damage was deep. The estimated repair cost? Over $40 billion. Today, more than 400,000 people still live in housing developments, from Queensbridge in Queens to Edenwald in the Bronx, from Red Hook in Brooklyn to Wagner in Harlem. The city is trying new solutions. Programs like RAD and PACT are bringing in private companies to manage repairs, but not without controversy. Some residents fear privatization. Others say it's the only path forward. Either way, public housing in New York is at a crossroads. The towers still stand, but their future is uncertain. The projects began with a promise, a belief that working people deserved more than survival, that housing could be a right, not a privilege. For generations it delivered on that promise. But time, politics, and neglect have taken their toll. Today, the story isn't finished. It's still being written by the residents who live in those buildings, who raise children, share meals, and carry the memory of what was. The question now is simple. What becomes of public housing in the city that invented it? Because the answer will shape the soul of New York for generations to come.